from the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Another school year has come to a close, but that doesn't mean your love for UNC athletics must end too. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Allie Massione.
And I'm Paige Comparato. To fill in the void left by spring sports ending, we put together our favorite stories about some of UNC's best and most interesting teams. Graduating Carolina basketball senior Leslie McDonald had a great year, and although everyone in the arena was impressed with his work on the court, McDonald has an off-court talent few fans get to see.
Leslie McDonald has spent years working on his shooting stroke to perfect his three-pointers. And with the stroke of a pen, he's shown that his talent extends into the art world.
I've always had that artistic side of me when I was young. I can remember drawing for my mother, and she putting it on her refrigerator.
His designs are intricate, even though he only took one class in high school. Many of McDonald's pieces are abstract art, some are drawings of people, and many of them start from his love of doodling. And with new technology comes new art forms he finds interest in.
Photoshopping, getting these photographs and, making it to artwork it's been new to me, and it's been fun.
But he believes drawing with bold pen is the best way to express himself.
When you see that pen go across that paper, it releases something.
His ideas for his drawings can come from things he sees or music that inspires him, but not always.
Some of my best work has been when I don't think at all. I just, draw.
He enjoys telling the story about one of his favorite pieces, a detailed portrait he drew of his girlfriend, which always stays in the frame and has become a good luck charm. So would he call himself an artist?
Well, I say this. I think everybody is their own artist, even if you can do something like Da Vinci or you drawing stick people. Everybody has their own story they want to put on paper.
Even his teammates, such as Bryce Johnson, have taken notice of this off-court talent.
He said he drew all the tattoos on his arm, and he's one gifted person.
McDonald believes his artistic ways have opened his mind.
A lot of people think just because I'm an athlete, I'm, basketball focused. I like to venture out into things. I like to draw. I like to dance. So it is broadened my mindset of things in the world.
And by looking at his artwork, we can catch a glimpse of what it's like in his world.
McDonald said although most of his work is private, you might be able to see some of it on his Instagram or Twitter account once in a while. And Leslie didn't take the court for this Duke game.
He didn't, but his support staff did. Here's a look back at a very heated rivalry game that didn't involve any NCAA athletes.
What's it like to play Duke?
It gets really heated up there.
And it is intense.
It's the best. No, they're not talking about the game millions across the country watch. They're talking about the UNC Duke Managers Game, a tradition men's basketball video coordinator Eric Hoots has started when he was a student at Carolina.
They had 20 minutes on the clock, and we were like, well, we're in over our heads here.
Since that first game at Cameron Indoor Stadium, the student managers from UNC and Duke have faced off twice a year, once at the Deandom, once at Cameron Indoor, the night before each varsity game. And as in any great rivalry, there's painful defeat and sweet redemption, like last year's second matchup. With 6 seconds left and a clear 11-point victory in hand for UNC, one of Duke's managers strips the ball from varsity manager Mary Ellen Weiland.
And the gym is just booing like crazy because he stole the ball from a girl.
But no one expected what happened next.
One of our other managers just ran down the court and he just tackled him to the ground, and the gym went crazy.
Something every Carolina fan could only dream of doing. And although Hoot says beating Duke never gets old.
Oh, it doesn't matter if you're playing checkers or whatever. Anytime you beat those guys, it feels great.
Last year's win felt just a little bit sweeter than most.
UNC won this game, but the real team split this year's matchup, each winning its respective home game.
UNC is known for drawing in big crowds during athletic events. When the games are over and fans return home, the work for other people is just beginning. AJ Nwoko has the story.
It's trash, and even more trash. Leftover popcorn boxes, half-eaten pizzas, soda spills, and despite all the food, you wouldn't want to eat off these floors. What's the cause of all the rubbish in the arena? Facility Director of Carmichael Arena, Stacey Harris.
With college students, I think a lot of it depends on the atmosphere of the game. If they're really excited and into it, they're going to tend to leave more trash.
And that can take a while to clean up.
It takes a couple of hours. I would say about 2 hours after for a medium-sized crowd, maybe 3 hours for a large crowd.
Harris thinks students just need a little encouragement to put the trash where it belongs.
We've asked them, hey, pick up your stuff, please, and they'll do it. But, I think they just have to be asked.
But is that really what it would take?
If there are trash cans easily available within sight of my seat, then I'll throw it away myself.
Typically, I do not.
I don't like doing that. It's mean to Mother Earth.
A likely story, but you wouldn't believe it from looking at Carmichael, Boschmer Stadium, Henry Stadium, or even Kenan Stadium.
Here in Kenan Stadium, one guy like me throwing down one piece of trash like this may not seem like a big deal. But multiply that out by a stadium that's supposed to seat thousands, and you've got yourself a big mess.
Despite the litter in Kenan, Carmichael, or any of the other sporting venues, Harris offers one simple solution for students.
Just be a little more responsible and keep up with your trash, and if you see something, pick it up.
In this case, a little bit goes a long way. In Chapel Hill, I'm AJ Nwoka reporting.
And as the group's saying goes, every litter bit hurts.
152 concussions were reported in the 2013 NFL season. Wide receivers, cornerbacks, and safeties were among the highest affected, totaling between 20 and 23 concussions for the season.
It's no news the NFL has been under serious scrutiny about head injuries, and after 94 years, they finally made a move to do something about it. Julia Diambra looked into the league's new program to rehabilitate players.
Hit after hit after hit. Football's deadliest weapon.
Super Bowl winning safety Dave Durson took his own life.
Former NFL defensive back Vincent Fuller knows the risks players take.
One thing that is guaranteed in football is that you will injure yourself. Now, the severity of that injury it varies, but you will receive some nicks and some bruises or more.
The or more is what prompted the NFL Players Association 3 months ago to develop the Trust.
Hey, what's up? I'm Spice Adams.
I'm Hunter Hillenmeyer.
And I'm Chester Pitts.
A rehabilitation program for former players who struggle with life after football.
When you go to the combine, you go through every physical test that you can imagine to make sure that you're okay. And after you leave, there isn't an exit combine. So this is our exit combine.
The NFLPA is partnering with the UNC Brain and Body Program to help guide retirees through physical and mental problems. Neuropsychologist Carla Thompson.
A lot of these guys are really, really concerned about what the game they love might be doing to their brains.
Fuller, who retired in 2011, is hopeful he'll see results.
Just to get a baseline in terms of, brain issues that I may be subject to older in life, so that I can come back 5 or 10 years from now and see if there's any regression or if I've maintained the same cognitive level that I once had.
Thompson says discovering problems sooner rather than later is the best way to approach each case.
Early identification of areas of impairment is essential to devising treatment plans that may be helpful.
Adjusting to normal life, though, is something Fuller says can be harder than conquering physical rehab.
The structured system that you have in the league, the time to be here, the time to be there, the meetings, this, that, and the third, that leaves you, and it's tough to hold your own self accountable.
Thompson recognizes this mental burden in retarees.
It's not that unusual for retired or retiring players to have some difficulties with emotional adjustment. Transitioning from being, a larger-than-life football hero to being in some ways just a normal person can be difficult.
UNC healthcare physicians guide former players like Fuller through life coaching, nutritional planning, and financial planning, all key elements of the trust that Fuller says are invaluable.
You need to know that you're, physically okay. You need to know that you're mentally okay. And if you're not, you need to know what type of preventable ways or treatable ways there are to help you with those problems.
And that's exactly what leaders of the partnership aim to achieve. Reporting in Chapel Hill, I'm Delia Diambra.
We're off to the races.
A group of Tar Heels take home the checkered flag from a national competition. That and more next on Sports Extra.
Connect with us online by liking the Sports Extra Facebook page and following us on Twitter @SportsExtra_UNC.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
The great outside. My new mom and I have a lot in common. So shiny. We both love the outdoors. That's not a flower. And she knows a lot about wildlife. A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
There are a lot of famous families in sports. The Currys in basketball, the Mannings in football, but one UNC family has a huge presence in lacrosse. Our Luis Fernandez shows us the lacrosse lifestyle of the Holmans.
If you take a quick look through the UNC men's lacrosse roster during the past few years, one name pops up a lot: Holman. There's Matthew, a former goalkeeper, Marcus, a former attacker and all-time leading scorer for the team, and Brian, assistant coach for the Tar Heels. Next up, trying to make a mark on the program, is the youngest daughter,
Number 10, Sydney Holman.
a freshman on the women's team. Sydney has been playing very well in her first season. She's 5th on the team in goals scored and leads the team with 20 assists. Sydney attributes the success to her dad.
I got to see him and Marcus's relationship a lot. He helped Marcus become such an amazing player, and he pushed me just like he did Marcus.
While he's helped her as a player, Brian has never coached Sydney, at least not in lacrosse.
I used to coach her in basketball, right? You remember that? Yeah, that was good. She was the feisty one. She didn't listen to a lot of what I had to say, so that was fun. We had a good time. But I've never coached her in lacrosse. I always liked to, it was nice being a spectator and watching her play.
Holman's role as a spectator is something he embraces, and Sydney depends on.
Before I even play the game, I have to know where he is in the crowd, and if I don't, I kind of freak out a little bit.
Unfortunately, because of scheduling, Brian can't be at every game this year. If he could, though, he would, something he tries to tell Sydney every day.
Probably on a daily basis, at least, A, that I love her to death, and lacrosse isn't the reason why I love her. But I am proud of her. She's attacked this, and she has a passion for the game, and she has a passion for people, and she's making the best out of an unbelievable opportunity.
Sydney understands how lucky she is to have such a great relationship with her father, especially in something as important to her as lacrosse.
Without him, I wouldn't be where I am, and I love him more than he could ever know, and I'm just so thankful to have him in my life.
That's very nice.
Mwah. Love you.
Their bond as father and daughter is strengthened by the sport they love, and is far more important to them than lacrosse will ever be. In Chapel Hill, I'm Luis Fernandez reporting.
Sydney Holman finished 2nd on the team in points with 61, and goalkeepers on the men's lacrosse team finished with 147 saves on the season.
It's been more than a year since the Boston Marathon bombings killed 3 people and injured 264 others standing by the finish line. In April, more than 36,000 runners towed the line for the 26.2-mile race, the second largest field in the race's 118-year-old history. Among the 36,000 are 2 of our very own UNC professors. Kylie McCoy brings us the story.
It wasn't the first time these UNC professors ran a marathon. In fact, Professor of Statistics Richard Miller ran his 51st marathon this morning. Miller has been working with marathon officials for nearly a year.
About a week after the race, I got an email from the Boston Marathon organisers, and it basically said, well, we're trying to find a way, figure out a way to provide finish times for all the runners who didn't finish the race, and can you help us with this?
Smith said it was important for him to help the Boston Marathon organizers, but it was even more important for him to participate in the run this year.
I think we all felt it was important to support the Boston Marathon, and that's partly why so many people want to go back and run it this year. So I think when we had an opportunity to contribute to that, we naturally accepted right away.
Professor of Medicine Peter Leone ran his 4th Boston Marathon last year. Leone said he crossed the finish line just 40 minutes before the bombs exploded.
It was devastating. That event and that day is about community. And then being a physician, I felt rather helpless because here I am, safe.
Although Leon felt powerless at the time, he said it motivated him to return to this year's marathon with a different purpose.
I knew I wanted to go back. I knew I had to do it for the folks that died, for the folks that were injured, for the Boston community, and for myself and my kids, to make a statement that I wasn't going to back down from terrorists, and I wasn't going to let them take away our freedoms in a statement.
And Leon said running a fast time isn't the only thing that's going to be on his mind during the race.
I still, at times, will tear up thinking about it, and I envision that last 0.2 of a mile when you make the turn and you come down Boylston and you see the finish line and the stands, and it's going to be like nothing else, because this is not about me. There's something almost transcendent this year about the event.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kylie McCoy reporting.
From one historic event to another, the Super Bowl of NASCAR, the Great American Race. Here's a look back at a group of UNC students who traveled to this year's 2014 Daytona 500. UNC journalism students knew Professor Dana McMahon's advertising class would be a learning experience. What they didn't know,
I never thought I'd ever be at the Daytona 500.
Senior Cynthia Bentabiza is one of 9 UNC students who partner with Fox Sports University to execute an advertising campaign for the Great American Race. Senior Laura Vroom says the partnership had some surprising rewards.
I pulled up my Twitter and started to type in some hashtags and saw that some of the promoted tweets were literally lines that I wrote. Life on NASCAR, life at a different speed. And seeing that was unreal.
Fox Sports marketing manager and UNC alumna Anna Fulwell says managers of the program take pride in providing such an opportunity for students. And that's exactly what these students did. They toured the Daytona 500 grounds, met contest winners, and even hung out in Victory Lane. An experienced junior Katie McNulty says she'll never forget.
And it's just amazing that the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, could give me this opportunity to be a part of this huge sporting event that people my age usually don't get to participate in. So it's been a really awesome experience.
One that puts these Tar Heels on the fast track to success, both at UNC and beyond. Those students have since presented to the UNC Board of Visitors. Break out the bathing suits, it's time to make a splash.
That's exactly what this bunch of new Tar Heels are doing. We have that story when Sports Xtra returns.
Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
A Tar Heel freshman keeps swinging away and racking up the wins for the women's tennis team. Is her leadership what it will take for the Heels to win a national title? Hayden Jones has the story.
Freshman superstar Jamie Loeb has made appearances at the U.S. Open and Wimbledon and is continuing her winning streak at Carolina. This reigning NCAA indoor singles national champion is hoping to hang on to her #1 ranking.
It gives me a lot of motivation because I want to keep
being one, and I want to stay there. And I think, I obviously want to win all my matches, and I think just my mentality is just to keep getting better, and like in practice, like I'm always looking to work on things and improve. I really want to maintain that ranking.
The decision for Loeb to come join UNC's top-ranked women's team wasn't easy at first. Persuasion and encouragement from longtime friend, competitor, and now teammate Haley Carter helped solidify her choice.
Yeah, we've known each other since we were 8 years old, playing tennis tournaments, and we built a friendship over the years, and I chose to come here, and then I tried to convince her to come here, and it worked out, and we're doubles partners and great friends.
The third-ranked duo has remained undefeated in the ACC and set the tone for the team to do what no team has been able to do this year, win the doubles point against the University of Miami. Jamie is undefeated in the ACC with a 42-2 record overall. She hopes to bring another team championship to Chapel Hill when the team travels to Cary for the ACC championships on the 24th. In Chapel Hill, I'm Hayden Jones reporting.
The team will start the journey to bring home another national championship May 9th in the NCAA outdoor tournament.
Pain, isolation, and exhaustion. That's how one Tar Heel describes fun. When this track and field athlete isn't running, he's climbing his way into thin air. So how fun is it to climb a 14,000-foot peak? Kylie McCoy brings us the story.
Ever since his dad introduced him to climbing when he was 15 years old, Stephen Mulheron has been in love with mountain climbing.
It's the type of fun where you don't have fun while you're doing it, but you look back at it and it's just a blast, and you're so excited that you got to do that. You make the summit, and then you're like, oh, let's go. That was awesome.
When Mulheron was still in high school, his parents sent him to Wyoming for 30 days at the National Outdoor Leadership School. Later, Mulheron's younger brother, Sean, was inspired to follow in his brother's footsteps.
He just told me how life-changing it was, just being out in the wilderness for 30 days, completely isolated, and he really got me excited about mountaineering.
While the experience is life-changing, if you're not careful, it can be life-ending.
I hit a really hard chunk of ice, and I thought my foot was planted in it, but it wasn't, so I slipped a little bit and jammed my ice axe into the ice, and I was good, but I fell for a little bit. Oh my God. And I definitely would have been dead.
Although no one has ever died from running, it's a similar uphill battle.
It's all mental. You got to have the right mental attitude. I've definitely learned that from mountaineering.
Mulheron says after college he wants to experience climbing all around the world before he starts a career. In the meantime, the only peak he'll be tackling will be trying to be at his best for the championship season. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kylie McCoy reporting.
Mulheron ran the mile at the Dennis Craddock Invitational and placed third. He ran a personal best time of 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
The diving team has gone through a major change in the form of Coach Abel Sanchez. Sanchez had been coaching at the University of New Mexico for 9 years when a new opportunity arose. AJ Nuoco has the story.
The diving team has gone through a major change in the form of Coach Abel Sanchez. Sanchez had been coaching at the University of New Mexico for 9 years when a new opportunity arose.
North Carolina called and asked if I'd be interested in coming out. There's something about this school, the academics, that draws people, and the athletics.
And since Sanchez's arrival, the diving team has showed steady improvement.
We're going to go to conference here Tuesday, and I think they're going to turn some heads.
For a diver, their performance in the air is just as important as their contact with the water. And to do that, they train on this device. All it takes is a few jumps and a flip. And I'm ready to dive. The goal is to translate practice on the trampoline to the diving board. And the ultimate goal?
Everyone's goal is to have an Olympian.
Sanchez is a former Olympian himself.
I've been there, I've done it. I'm here to just take you as far as you want to go. If you want to get there, let's get there.
And Sanchez's attitude is having a positive effect on his athletes.
He's really passionate about what he does.
Inspiration.
Future. He is the man.
He brings together a family.
I haven't seen anybody that loves diving more than Abel.
And with his love for the sport and for the team, he just might be able to mold a Tar Heel Olympian. In Chapel Hill, I'm AJ Nuoco reporting.
Abel Sanchez will be returning for his second season this fall.
We've all seen them
performing on the sidelines of Kenan Stadium and the center court for Roy's boys.
But how well do you actually know the dance team? Casey Bennett reports on the double life of our very own Spirit Squad.
For the UNC dance team, pepping up the crowd is all in a day's work. And that's only half of what this talented team does. Their other job? Fighting for the title, national champion. I had the opportunity to travel with the team to Daytona, Florida, the site of the Collegiate Dance and Cheer Nationals. Following the dancers allowed me to see the competition from their point of view. And taking center stage is not as easy as these ladies make it look.
Walking out on stage was overwhelming. I felt my heart pounding, and it's hard to believe that this could be the last time you're walking out on stage with this team. It's such a happy feeling, but it's so bittersweet because I could do this every day, all day with them.
UNC performed 2 different routines this weekend, jazz and hip-hop. Although the team didn't make finals in hip-hop, they finished 5th overall in jazz with a nearly perfect score of 9.502, the Heels' highest finish since 2009.
I would say it was exhilarating. I wouldn't say I was nervous. Nerves are good, but not nervous in the sense of not being prepared. We're very prepared, so I would just say it's exhilarating, but when you have all those people cheering for you, it's a great feeling.
It's a great weekend for us. It's our first time back in over 5 years. So our goal was to make finals, and we probably did about as well as we could have. The girls' energy was up. They hit their routine each time they performed it. I honestly could not have been more proud.
From the stadium, to the court, to the stage, UNC's dance team is ready to impress. So next time you're cheering on UNC athletics, don't forget to watch the Carolina girls. They're sure to put on one heel of a show. From Daytona, I'm Casey Bennett reporting.
The dance team placed 5th overall in the jazz division at NDA Nationals. Hockey is difficult as is, but try playing it underwater.
Don't hold your breath. We'll dive in with this UNC club team next on Sports Extra.
Don't forget to tune into our sister shows, Carolina Week at 5 p.m. every Wednesday on Time Warner 24 or Campus Channel 34, and Carolina Connection at 8:30 every Saturday morning on WCHL 97.9 FM.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
There are 50 club sports offered at UNC. We jump in and take you below the surface to look at one that has no equal.
Ready, set, puck drop? That's right, it's underwater hockey, a globally played pool sport that requires snorkeling gear, fins, a stick, and a lot of physical endurance.
I like how tough it is because it's a physical challenge, obviously, holding your breath as long as you can, swimming as fast as you can, all while trying to navigate 3 dimensions because it's not just left, right, forward, and back, you're also doing up and down.
I even got a chance to try it out, and it was no easy task. Moving the puck just a few inches is one of the hardest skills to master.
It's a couple pounds, so you can't get it very far on your own. It takes a lot of swimming and a lot of hard pushing to get it where you want to go.
Junior Emily Davidson says the game's fast pace is something many people don't expect.
The first time you get in, everything is moving so fast. You suddenly just see all these people just like converge on the puck and you're just like, what just happened?
A game is typically played 6-on-6. With so many people in the water, there have to be rules to prevent roughness.
You're gonna bump, you're gonna jostle, but if I just go spear them into a wall, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Playing fair and having fun is what this sport is all about.
Wow, underwater hockey. Do you think you could do it?
You know, I can't hold my breath to save my life, so no, not cut out for underwater hockey. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thank you for watching and have a great night. Wow, underwater hockey. Do you think you could do it?
No, I know I'm not cut out for it. I can't save my breath to hold my life, so not for me. Well, what?
You just said save my breath to hold my life. That was great. That was great.